have you ever wondered if Dracula, the Prince of Darkness, was more than just a product of Bram Stoker's imagination? Could the immortal creature of the night, thirsting for human blood, have been a chilling reality? What are the roots of the Dracula legend in history? How has the vampire phenomenon developed over centuries? The name Dracula, a potent symbol of terror, has haunted our collective memory thanks to Stoker's literary ingenuity. But could this embodiment of our deepest fears have been more than a mere invention of Gothic literature? Over the years, Dracula has evolved, transcending the confines of Stoker's novel to become a pervasive part of pop culture, yet hidden within the world of conspiracy theories is the tantalizing possibility that the terrifying figure might have truly walked the earth. Join us as we delve into the shadows and unravel the enigma of Dracula's existence. Fasten your seatbelts as we embark on a journey into the heart of these spine-chilling questions. The roots of the Dracula conspiracy theory lie deep in the history of Eastern Europe. Our journey begins in the 15th century in the heart of Wallachia, a region now known as Romania. Here reigned a man infamous for his cruelty, a man named Vlad III, or as he is more chillingly known, Vlad the Impaler. Now, Vlad was no ordinary ruler. His taste for blood was as literal as it was metaphorical. Stories of his brutal reign filled the hearts of his subjects with terror. He was known to impale his enemies on long spikes, a gruesome sight that could be seen for miles. This, coupled with his membership in the Order of the Dragon, a group sworn to defend Christianity against the Ottoman Empire, gave birth to his nickname Dracula, meaning son of the dragon or son of the devil. But let's take a step back. How does this historical figure link to the Dracula we all know, the vampire, the immortal, the bloodsucker? Well, the connection lies in the pen of Irish author Bram Stoker. His novel, Dracula, published in 1897, introduced the world to a character whose name and reputation were inspired by Vlad the Impaler. Yet, as we delve deeper into the rabbit hole, we find that the line between fiction and reality begins to blur. Some conspiracy theorists argue that Stoker's Dracula wasn't purely a work of fiction. They believe that Vlad the Impaler was, in fact, the real vampire, the original Dracula. They point to his infamous bloodlust, his brutal reign, even his peculiar diet, which was rumored to include blood. So we're left with a tantalizing question. Was Vlad the Impaler merely a ruthless ruler with a taste for blood? Or was there something more sinister at play? Could he really have been the first vampire, the real Dracula, the immortal villain that has haunted our nightmares for centuries? But how does a ruthless ruler transform into an immortal, blood-sucking figure of horror? And our journey takes a darker turn as we delve into the world of ancient rituals and blood sacrifices. In the dim corridors of time, we find humanity's fascination with the life-giving essence of blood. Civilizations as old as the Mayans, the Egyptians, and the Persians have all performed rituals involving the spilling or consumption of blood. They believed that blood held the power of life and death, a conduit to the divine. These practices, as gruesome as they may sound to our modern sensibilities, were often considered sacred, a bridge between the mortal realm and the divine. Now, imagine the Carpathian Mountains of Romania during the 15th century. A ruler known for his ruthlessness, his love for the macabre, Vlad the Impaler is in power. He's notorious for his brutal, bloody reign. But what if there was more to his bloodlust than mere tyranny? What if these were not the random acts of a madman, but calculated rituals designed to harness the power of blood? Historical records and folklore alike recount Vlad's penchant for dining amidst his impaled victims, a goblet of blood often at his side. Some say he even bathed in the blood of his enemies. Could these acts be his attempt to tap into the ancient power that cultures around the world revered? Consider this. The vampire mythos often speaks of immortality granted by the consumption of human blood. Vlad, with his blood rituals, could have been trying to achieve the same. And given the persistent rumors of his immortality, the tales of sightings long after his supposed death, it's a theory that holds a certain chilling allure. But let's not get carried away. After all, correlation does not imply causation. The rituals could simply be a reflection of the times, a manifestation of the brutality of the age. Or perhaps they were a psychological tactic, a means to instill fear in the hearts of his enemies. Could these rituals have been the key to Vlad's alleged immortality? Perhaps. But as with all good mysteries, the truth remains shrouded in the mists of time. The vampire phenomenon is not just limited to the folklore of Eastern Europe. Indeed, tales of vampire-like entities have been whispered around campfires and written in ancient scrolls across the globe. This worldwide fascination with vampires is not just a testament to the power of storytelling, but it also adds a certain credibility to the conspiracy theory we're exploring today. Let's take a trip around the world, shall we? In ancient Greece, they told stories of the vrikolakas, a creature not unlike the vampire, known to rise from the grave and cause havoc. Fast forward a few centuries, and across the Atlantic in the Americas, the native tribe spoke of the lugaru, a creature that could remove its skin and fly through the night to drain the life force from its victims. In the eastern realms, the Chinese jiangshi, a reanimated corpse that sucks the life essence from the living, bears a striking resemblance to our European vampire. And who can forget the bloodthirsty chupacabra of Latin American folklore? Africa, too, has its tales. The Asanbosum of the Ashanti people in Ghana, for instance, is said to have iron teeth with which it bites its victims to drink their blood. Similar stories are found in the folklore of the Yu people, who speak of the Adz, a creature that can take the form of a firefly, but in its human form, it drinks blood. Even in the far reaches of Oceania, tales of vampire-like creatures persist. The Tagalog people of the Philippines tell of the aswang, a shapeshifter that feeds on the blood of the living. These stories, spread across continents and centuries, all share a common thread: creatures of the night, thirsting for the life essence of the unsuspecting. Each tale is unique, yet eerily familiar. It begs the question, are these tales merely the product of humanity's collective imagination, our shared fear of the dark and the unknown? Or do they hint at a more sinister reality? Are these stories mere coincidences, or is there a blood-curdling truth hidden beneath? Despite the compelling arguments, many questions about Dracula's existence remain unanswered. We've journeyed through centuries, dissecting historical accounts and delving into ancient rituals. Yet the enigma of Dracula persists, wrapped in a shroud of mystery as thick as the Transylvanian fog. Let's revisit the main points of our discussion. We explored the historical figure of Vlad the Impaler, whose bloodthirsty reign and brutal tactics gave rise to the legend of Dracula. But was he really the immortal creature of the night, or just a ruthless ruler twisted into a terrifying tale? We also delved into the chilling blood rituals of old. These practices were widespread and deeply ingrained in many cultures. Could these rituals have been mere superstition, or do they hint at a reality far more sinister? And then, there's the enduring vampire phenomenon. From classic literature to modern pop culture, the figure of the vampire continues to haunt us, but is this obsession merely a fascination with the macabre, or does it stem from a collective memory of a horrifying truth? Each thread of this conspiracy theory weaves an intricate tapestry, yet it's riddled with gaps and loose ends. The historical records are fragmentary and often contradictory. The blood rituals, while chilling, provide no definitive proof, and the vampire phenomenon, pervasive as it is, could be just a societal fascination with the taboo and the terrifying. So, while we've illuminated some corners of the Dracula myth, a labyrinth of unanswered questions remains. What is the true origin of this enduring legend? Was there a real Dracula who walked among us? Or is he simply a figment of our darkest fears? And if he did exist, what became of him? Is he still lurking in the shadows, waiting for his moment to rise? Perhaps the truth about Dracula is as elusive as the character himself. As we step back into the light, the shadow of Dracula still looms large. We've ventured through the corridors of history, examining the life of Vlad the Impaler, the historical figure often associated with the Dracula legend. We've delved into the eerie world of blood rituals, scrutinizing their existence and potential connections to our subject. We've also explored the vampire phenomenon, a cultural wave that spread across Europe and beyond, leaving an indelible mark on our collective psyche. And yet, despite our deep dive into these murky waters, we find ourselves left with more questions than answers. Was Vlad the Impaler really the inspiration behind Dracula, or was he merely a scapegoat for a much darker truth? Are blood rituals mere folklore, or do they hold a nefarious reality? Was the vampire phenomenon purely psychological, or does it hint at a hidden world unseen by most? Is Dracula a myth, a historical figure, or a chilling reality? The decision lies with you.